I've asked him if he could chat a little bit about it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Good morning. My name is Robert Petke, and that first day that I was hired to work at Select, what an honor. I'd worked a little bit in the staffing company already, and I knew that it was just going to be a great opportunity for me. And what a good venue for me to say, with the first round pick for Select staffing, Aurora selects Robert Petke. I'm glad I got your attention because for the next 4 hours we're going to talk about the secrets of my success. You know, that first day I had to make a decision, and that decision was to, let me take this off, it's distracting, although it's a pretty cool hat, right? I had to make a decision to become an expert with Select. And the way I did that was, as we all know with being a new salesperson, there's online training. I think it's like, 3-4 weeks of online training, right? And you know what, I had to make a decision right away because I was anxious and eager to go out and sell. So the first thing I had to do is I had to decide I was going to be diligent about being a participant in the online training. And what did that do for me? It allowed me to learn about Select, and it familiarized me with the products and services that I was going to go out and promote. And more importantly, I learned what made Select different than anybody else. Now again, becoming an expert, I had one heck of a branch manager that took me under her wing day one. Debbie Heck, thank you. And you know, one thing I learned from Debbie is right away we had morning meetings every morning. And with that, I learned her expectations. I learned what did she expect from me. What were the things that worked in the past for the branch, and what were the things that she knew I was going to need to do to move forward. I learned the daily, the weekly, the monthly expectations of what I needed to do. And together we brainstormed. Oh no. This is like, this morning I was like, oh no, not me. Little help. Well, help now. Brainstorming. Come on now. I happened to have it as we sat this morning. I was practicing, and I have it on my phone. Now I have to find it with everybody watching me. Brainstorming. Oh, shoot. Okay, cool. So with brainstorming came a lot of questions, and I asked a lot of questions. And Debbie asked questions about my day all the time as well. And so there was active listening that was involved with that. I'll just do this. And again, I'm still trying to become an expert. It's my first day, right? And I was fortunate because at the very beginning, my regional sales manager, Nicole Pierce, came out. And you know what we did that first day is we went on sales calls. We spent time in the office together. And we went over some of the paperwork, the agreements, and I learned all about that good stuff. And before she left that first day, we had a plan of attack. Still trying to become an expert. My personnel supervisors, I knew it was going to be important, and Debbie told me it was going to be important to get them on my side. So I needed to learn what they do. I needed to learn how they do it. Go through them all. And I had to genuinely earn their trust and respect. This morning it was like, maybe pretend like we're making phone calls. I made some phone calls because I wanted to earn their respect. I wanted to earn their trust. I wanted them on my side. And one of the first things that I learned coming in new was that if somebody hasn't been billed in 6 months, you guys know where I'm going? You find out who those folks are, go talk to them, and those personnel supervisors, those recruiters were the ones that were able to tell me who were some of those folks. And I was able to use those as great leads moving forward. Next. Still becoming an expert. My regional management team, Lisa Cooney, Amy Carlson, yeah? Right away, they made themselves available to me from the first day. Is this working? This is tough. And from day one, they made themselves available to me. And not only that, these folks know what they're doing. They are in the positions they are because they're smart and they've done it. And they humbled themselves, or they just were themselves, and they allowed me to build a relationship with them. And together we would communicate. And I'm able to listen and learn from their experiences in this industry. And now we're talking about relationships. So let's go back to Debbie. She's my branch manager. And one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to earn her trust. And I figured out how could I do this? I was trying to determine what was going to work best. And I decided activity and appointments. Because that first 4 to 6 weeks, folks, all you're doing is planting seeds. Somebody might throw you a bone, you might get one, but you're planting seeds. And so through activity, through getting my points and diligently going about that and making appointments, I knew she could trust that she made a good decision. And I asked her to go on appointments with me. I said, Debbie, come on, let's go. Let me show you what I'm doing. Let me demonstrate the things that you thought I could do when you met with me for the first time. And we have constant two-way communication all day long. And we talk about my successes and some of the shortcomings I have. And when I bring her out on an appointment with me, I'll ask her for some constructive criticism. I'll be like, Debbie, I felt good, but tell me what you think. What do you think I could have done? And more often than not, I'm doing okay. Thanks, Debbie. And I'm thinking, what's the way to really earn her respect, her trust? It's to close some deals. And I've been fortunate, and I've been able to do that. Building relationships, again, with those personnel supervisors. I actually sat and learned from them. I think sometimes we as sales folks come off as we don't care. Or we're above some of that stuff that they do every day, the phones and the testing and all of that. I sat and I learned. And when the phones are ringing and they've got people lined up outside the door, I answer the phones. Hola, mi llamo es Roberto. How can I help you today? And I've also challenged my personnel supervisors in my office. If they find me a lead that generates them business, I treat them to lunch. I've got 3 personnel supervisors. I've gone out on 3 lunches. And you can't see it, but that's me. And who would not want to go out to lunch with this guy, right? Relationships, regional management team. Again, making appointments, lots of activity. Asking for their assistance, calling for their advice, especially on some of those bigger accounts that I'm trying to land. You know what, folks? That regional management team, they can help you close. And they have. And again, by closing deals, talk about earning folks' respect. That's really what it comes down to in our business. Relationships, and most importantly, it's the client relationship. You have to build a relationship with clients. And it's been the theme throughout these meetings that I've attended, and even this morning, about being genuine and finding a commonality with the folks that you meet with. Remembering their names. Who are they? Remember their interests, pictures of families or vacations in their office. Look around and see what it is they do. Because at the end of the day, folks, they're just like you and me. And you have to be genuine. You have to have that in you. You know, there's a sales mentality that people have, and you know, we're not used car salesmen, folks. We sell the services of other human beings. So we have to be genuine about that. And you know, when I meet with some of these folks for the first or second time, you know, and it all depends on the feel of the meeting, I don't always talk business first. You know, they know why I'm there. They know why they slotted between 10:06 and 10:11 for me to be there that day. And they're looking at their watch. They know why I'm there. And so, you know, all of that I've talked about so far is just leading up to what I needed to do, where I needed to be, and I needed to look at some of the goals. And I needed to set some personal goals. Now, Select has goals, and I learned that through 3.5 weeks of online training. And you know what I learned from that? I learned that the goals were realistic, and they were attainable. And what I decided was I was going to set some personal goals that exceeded the Select goals. If Select wanted me to make 50 calls in a day, I was going to make 60 calls in a day. If they wanted me to make a certain number of cold stops a day, I was going to make more. I was going to have more appointments than they had, because it's all in the numbers, folks. You have to get out there and you have to get in front of people. And when I did this at first, and I set these goals, I looked at it, and I tracked what I did. And at the end of the day, I was able to go home and say, job well done. I did what I had set out to do. You know, the thing that really what it comes down to be successful in this is you have to accept, and I did it, I have to accept that I am equipped to succeed. And I'm confident. Can you tell? I hope so. Although, well, anyway. You know, I have to realize I was hand-picked for this job. I know I'm not the only person that Debbie met with and some of the folks in my region met with. They chose me, and there was a reason for that. And you know what else makes me confident and it makes me realize that I'm equipped to succeed is I know what I'm selling. I know why Select is the best. And simply put, I'm an expert at what I do. Now, I had to take action, so I was trying to come up with some clever way to talk about how I took action. This is the best I can come up with. It was the 8 G's of action. And, you know, branch managers, I'm going to go ahead and just put myself out there and say, for new people, write this stuff down. Because it's that good. Grab the phone and start dialing. That's G number 1. Grab the phone, start dialing. Go in your car. Give out marketing materials. Get in front of people. Gain interest. Grow your portfolio. Generate sales. And the final G is gladly accept your financial rewards. Now, in order to take action, there's one thing you have to do. It's been mentioned even this morning. Ask for the business. If you don't ask for the business, you can be the best presenter and have all the documentation and all of the wonderful marketing materials that Select has. But if you walk away without asking the business, it does you no good. And folks,